The Superior Court of Benton County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Ziobro presiding.
Morning, please be seated. Parties are ready to proceed in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Tatum Zilius. Prosecution ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, before we begin, we'll enter a formal plea of the defendant. 2 counts of murder in the 3rd degree. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
All right, thank you. Before we begin, I'll have each of the lawyers for each side introduce themselves. We'll start with the prosecution.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Elsa Torres, and I will be doing the opening statement and the cross-examination of Tatum, Zilius, Micah Stratton, and Reese Stanton. May my co-counsels and the witnesses introduce themselves?
I may.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Christy Santosa. I will be doing the closing argument and the direct examination for Emerson Trimkin and London Packard.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Caleb Tedeschi, and I'm co-counsel of the prosecution.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Taylor Brabant, and I am also part of the co-counsel for the prosecution.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Emerson Trimkin, and I was the site supervisor at Franklin's Trench.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is London Packard, and I am one of the squatters at Franklin's Trench.
And everybody? And I'll hear from the defense.
My name is Katie Beeman, and I'm going to be making the opening remarks in this case.
My name is Janae Nyman, and I'm going to be doing the direct.
My name is Brixton Testerman, and I will be doing direct examination and the closing argument. My name is Audrey Dunbar, and I will be directing Micah Stratton.
My name is Reese Stettner, and I was the reporter on site during it.
I'm Tatum Zilius, and I was the,
My name is Micah Stratton, and I was the criminal.
Any pre-trial matters we need to begin, or are we ready to proceed to opening statements?
No, Your Honor.
Prosecution's ready. You may make your opening statement at this time.
May it please the court, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Elsa Torres, and these are my co-counsels, Christy Santosa, Caleb Tedeschi, and Sailor Brabant. We represent the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in this pursuit for justice. On August 31st, 2012, the defendant Tatum Zilius had a choice. He could follow the law, or he could chase $1 million bonus. He chose the money. On a day when the sky was turning black and the wind was howling, a literal hurricane, Zilius decided to play God with a plan. The evidence will show that he ignored the wind, he ignored the warnings, and he ignored the law. We are the issue in the case today is whether Tatum Zilius displayed a shocking lack of regard for construction procedures and human life, leading to a reckless disregard for human life. We will prove this was not an accident, but the direct consequence of a defendant who chose to ignore the very rules meant to keep his workers safe. We are at Project Z right here in Philadelphia. It was a project fueled by ego and tight deadlines. You will hear from Emerson Trimkin, the site supervisor with over 30 years of experience. You will hear how she personally warned Zilius that the wind was too dangerous, and you will also hear about how the load was 200 tons over the maximum load. You will also hear from London Packard, a resident of the area who watched the disaster unfold with a sense of doom. Packard will testify about the decaying safety at the site, and most critically, will testify to finding a letter from the city requesting critical safety information before approving the lift. Where was it found? Crumbled up in the trash. The evidence will show you the defendant's own playbook for disaster. You will see the official OSAS report from Quinn Baxter. It doesn't just list one mistake or two. It lists 13 separate safety code violations. 13 times the defendant chose to break the law. Last but not least, we will prove that Zilius acted with a heart so cold that he told his own staff that he did not care if people got hurt because he could pay for that later. We aren't here for an accident, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for a murder, Joey Nigri. At the end of this trial, the defense will try to tell you that Tatum Zilius was just an innocent visionary. But visionaries build things up. They don't tear families and lives apart. Look at the evidence of his total shocking lack of regard for regulations and human life. When you do, the only just verdict will be to find Tatum Zilius guilty of third-degree murder, 2 counts. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give Grayson Arnie the justice the defendant refused to give them. Hold him accountable for the rules he broke and the lives he took. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna ask, all right, let's hold our applause to the end. Is the defense ready to make an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please proceed.
May it please the court, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Katie Bigman, and my co-counsel Brixton Testerman, Audrey Dunbar, and Janaea Nyman. And we will be representing the defendant, Tatum Zilius. This is a case about a tragedy, not a crime. You will see that the prosecution has taken a crane accident and is trying to turn it into a crime. When the prosecution chose to bring on this case, they also took on a heavy burden, the burden of proof. They must prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that this was not simply an accident, but third-degree murder committed with malice. They must prove that my client, Tatum Zilius, acted recklessly and was not also a victim of this terrible thing. Now, on August 31st, 2012, Tatum was faced with a difficult decision. She had to decide whether to stop operations, risking months of hard work, time, and effort, or to rely on the expertise of a trained crane operator and continue the lift of weathering in the building before worsening weather conditions arrived. This was not a reckless choice, but a decision made under pressure. Tatum and his team decided to proceed with the lift. However, after the first successful lift, and during the second, something went wrong. The crane began to malfunction. The crane collapsed, killing 2 individuals. We are not here to deny that a tragedy took place, but this was a situation that quickly went out of control. The official report could not clearly determine what caused this accident. Even after a full investigation, the cause remains uncertain. And when the cause is uncertain, when what happened that day cannot be fully proven, that is reasonable doubt. Today you will hear from the experienced professional himself, the crane operator, Micah O'Strien, who will explain how the situation quickly went out of control, leading to the collapse of the crane. You will also hear from a journalist, Reese Denter, who was at the site that day and observed the conditions, including the presence of the squatters who were interfering with the work, creating chaos, and potentially tampering with the equipment. You will also hear from Tatum Zilius herself, who will explain the goals she had for the project and the challenges she faced while working under consistent pressure and interference. You will hear, the prosecution will try to place this blame on Tatum Zilius, but the evidence will show that she is not guilty. They may try to portray her as money-hungry, reckless, and uncaring, but they cannot prove that. And under the law, when they cannot prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, you must return a fair verdict. Not guilty. Thank you.
All right. Commonwealth ready to call its first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call Emerson Turkin to the stand.
Do you affirm the evidence you shall give in this court, in this trial, to the jury, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please have a seat. State your name for the record. Spell your last. Upon doing so, counsel you may inquire.
My name is Emerson Trinkin.
at a construction site?
30 years.
And what was your role at the construction site?
I was a site manager.
Your Honor, I would like to enter in the following exhibit marked as exhibit number 1 into evidence.
Provided a copy to the defense. This is all exhibit 1. Any objection?
No.
Exhibit 1's admitted. Go ahead and ask the next question.
Please read the highlighted section of exhibit number 1, lines 34 to 35, starting on Tatum stared right at me. Oh, wait.
Tatum stared right at me and said, "I don't care if people get hurt. We can pay for that. We can pay for anything but time. This project is going to get done."
And on January 2012, what happened to safety checks?
They were cut at Zilius' order, and accidents started to increase.
Your Honor, I would like to enter in the following exhibit marked as exhibit number 2 into evidence.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Admitted.
Please tell me what exhibit number 2 is titled.
Final OCIS report regarding August 31st, 2012 collapse of crane fight and fill.
Who prepared this report?
Quinn Baxter,
And who is Quinn Baxter?
senior lead investigator.
Your Honor, I would like to recognize exhibit number 2, the OCIS report regarding August 31st, 2012 of Quinn Baxter, senior investigator of the Office of Construction Inspection and Safety as expert testimony.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Ready, go ahead.
How many code violations were observed at the site according to exhibit number 2?
13 violations.
Please read the highlighted part, the executive summary.
The collapse of the crane fight and fill resulted from a shocking lack of regard for common sense, regulations, and proper construction procedures by Project Z. These violations included lifting an amount in excess of the crane's capacity without approval and lifting during high winds.
Thank you. Now please read the other highlighted part, the first paragraph of the narrative.
At 2:45 p.m., the second lift of the day commenced, despite the rains and gusting winds. The object being lifted, a piece of roof weighing some 2,900 tons, was greater than 85% maximum tolerance for the crane. Wind was initially projected to be at 5 to 17 miles per hour sustained, gusting to 22 miles per hour. However, at noon, that prediction was revised, and winds were expected to be 10 to 20 miles per hour, with gusts to 23 to 26 miles per hour. According to interviews with Tatum Zilius, he was unaware of this revision. According to Emerson Turnkin, Zilius was aware of it, but chose to proceed. At 3:15 p.m., the forecast was again amended to include a wind warning, sustained winds of 25 miles per hour or greater. Site personnel had stopped checking the weather and they were unaware of this revision.
Thank you. Now please read all the additional contributing factors other than violations, please.
1. Per interviews with Emerson Turnkin and others, management did not emphasize safety culture or ongoing beyond the requirements of the code to make work site safe. 2. Per interviews with Tatum Zilius, Emerson, Turnkin, and others, management rushed work in order to meet economic or political objectives. 3. Management failed to carefully monitor the metal fatigue of work equipment. 4. Management failed to check weather reports throughout second lift. 5. The lift was performed outside the manufacturer tolerances for windage. 6. The lift was likely performed outside the manufacturer tolerances for lift weight.
Thank you. Now please read the other highlighted section of exhibit number 1, starting on line 74 to 76.
I also brought Tatum an even worse weather report from the night before that showed winds coming earlier. He just asked me, so why aren't we lifting now? As though we should start before dawn without even warming up the crane.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Any cross-exam?
Hello, Emerson. Thank you for coming in today. I'm going to start off with a few yes and no questions. So you were the site supervisor on Project C.
Yes.
That meant you were responsible for day-to-day operations?
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Zilius also made sure she hired qualified professionals,
Yes.
such as you and Micah, the crane operator.
Yes.
And you believe that Micah Stratton was qualified to operate Fighting Phil?
Yes.
Now, when issues came up, you discussed them among the team.
Yes.
You and Mr. Stratton were part of those discussions.
Yes.
In fact, before the second lift on the day of the incident, Tatum encouraged Grace to ask Micah his thoughts.
Yes.
Now, you never heard Tatum Zilius tell anyone to break the rules.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Any response?
I'm just asking if she ever heard Tatum Zilius tell anyone to break the rules.
Technical Rule Counsel is Mr. Zilius is a party opponent. It's not hearsay to ask questions of a party opponent, so I'll overrule the objection. Let me ask you a question.
You never heard Tatum Zilius tell anyone to break the rules.
No, not directly.
Now, on August 31st, you had concerns about the lift.
Yes.
Grace told you she couldn't stop the lift without Quinn Baxter's approval.
Yes.
She said Quinn valued your opinion,
Yes.
but you didn't speak up.
Yes.
No one stopped you from speaking. That was your choice.
Yes.
You were worried about losing your job if you said something.
Yes.
But this was not because Tatum Zilius threatened you, but because you thought you might be fired.
Yes.
I would like to refer back to exhibit number 2. Are you familiar with this report?
Yes.
And according to this report, under the factual findings, the crane experienced complete metal failure.
Yes.
And possible issues with the hydraulic system.
Yeah.
The report also states that this damage could have caused or followed the collapse itself, correct?
Yes.
So even the official investigation report could not determine exactly what caused the collapse.
Yeah.
Now, from this report's perspective, this was a complex situation.
Yes.
Nothing in this report concludes that this was intentional, correct? Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're free to step down. Or call your next witness.
Your Honor, I would like to call London Packard to the stand.
Do you affirm the evidence you shall give in this court, in this trial, to the jury shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name for the record and spell your last. Upon doing so, counsel, you may inquire.
My name is London Packard.
Tell me a little bit about Franklin's Trench.
Franklin's Trench was home to me and over 1,500 souls in 27 years.
And what happened to Franklin's Trench in 2011?
Franklin's Trench, Zilias moved in the crane and decided to turn our home for the outcast and downtrodden into a shard of bitter steel.
What safety measures were removed at Zilius' orders in January?
I saw Turkin under Zilias cut the safety sweeps.
Your Honor, I would like to enter in the following exhibit, marked as exhibit number 3 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Number 3 is admitted.
What did you find in the trash on August 24, 2012?
I found this letter saying, I found this letter from the city to Zilias saying that the lifts were never approved.
And knowing that the lifts were not approved, what did you observe Zilius doing?
I saw him, like a madman, prepare for the lifts anyways.
And what was the weather like on August 31st, 2012, the day of the lift?
The rains were falling and the winds were blowing, and I was excited. There was no way they could lift in those conditions.
But how did Zilius respond to the hazardous weather conditions on August 31st, 2012?
He started preparing for the lifts anyways.
And as you watched the lift with a sense of doom, how was the roofing panel behaving in the wind?
It was swinging back and forth and literally twisting in the wind.
And what happened when the safety official attempted to stop the second lift with a red flag?
Zilias ran toward her, yelling at her, and then grabbed the green flag from her and started waving it at the crane operator.
And what happened to the crane after that?
The crane collapsed and crushed my best friend, Artie.
So, who is dead?
Artie Dent.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Cross-exam.
Hello, Mr. Packard. Thank you for coming in today. I'm going to start off with a few yes and no questions. So you lived in Franklin's Trench for many years.
Yes.
And to you, it was kind of like a utopia?
Yes.
So when you heard about Project Z coming into your community, you did not want it to move forward.
Correct.
Now when the crane arrived, you organized a community meeting about the project?
Yes, I did.
And after that meeting, most of the residents chose to leave?
Sadly, yes.
But you and your friend Artie Dent stayed?
Yeah.
You both stayed to protest against construction?
Yeah, we wanted to keep our home.
Now, you already have formed a negative opinion of Tatum. In fact, you called her a monster?
I mean, I would say that because she is stealing my home.
Okay, now we're going to be moving on to your friend Artie Dent. So you know he struggled with mental health issues.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on some pills.
And he wasn't consistently taking his medication?
No, he thought it was a plot against him.
Now you also saw Artie charge at the site manager with a construction shovel?
Yes.
Now, you also saw Artie with a wrench from the construction the site.
Yes, he said that it trespassed on his property and therefore was his.
Artie also mentioned he would destroy the project from within.
Yes.
He also talked about doing something extreme by killing himself on the site.
He mentioned that, but that's crazy even for Artie.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Overruled, not allowed.
Now, you are aware of Artie's plan called Operation Turtle.
Yes.
That plan involved entering the site without permission.
Yes.
The plan wasn't just meant to slow down the project, but stop it entirely.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to enter in the following exhibit, marked as exhibit number 4, into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
4 is admitted.
Can you read the highlighted title for the jury? Sorry.
Power of the wrench.
There's that
Master
wrench again.
plan.
Now can you also read the highlighted portion about the wrench?
This wrench in the works will allow me to rage against the alien machine.
Rage against the alien machine. Interesting. Now, in Artie's master plan, he mentions taking a final stand.
Yes.
He also refers to a trench coat martyr.
Yep.
Later, you learn that Artie was at the site that day.
Yes, he was.
In fact, he was under the crane in a trench coat.
Yeah.
This was not an accident. Artie planned it, didn't he? Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Would you like to answer the last question?
Like, yeah. No, I'm good.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Witness free to step down. Call your next witness.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
Defense, request a short recess, or are you ready to call your first witness?
Yes.
You call your witness? Go ahead.
Your Honor, we would like to call for witness Micah Estrada.
Do you affirm the evidence you shall give in this court, in this trial, to the jury shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name for the record, spell your last name, and doing so, counsel, you may inquire.
Micah Estrada. You want me to spell my last name, Your Honor? E-S-T, R-A-T-T-O-N.
Counsel, you may inquire.
What was your educational background?
I have a degree in mechanical engineering from Drexel University.
And what was your occupation?
I'm a crane operator.
What related positions have you held?
I've been in the International Union of Operating Engineers for over 25 years, and I've held leadership positions in, and I also often speak at events to help certify other crane operators.
How long have you worked with Phil?
I worked with Phil almost exclusively for over 18 years.
Your Honor, I'm requesting you recognize Micah Estrada as an expert.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Stratton will be recognized as an expert.
What type of crane is Fight and Fill?
He is a ELS 2750.
What kind of cables were used for Fight and Fill?
We used a high-grade steel cables to ensure the best safety.
How does high grade, why did you choose Fight and Fill for Zill's project?
We chose Phil because we originally were gonna task a crane Big Tony to the job, but after Zilius looked at the spec sheets, she chose Phil because she wanted to ensure the best safety for the lift, and it meant she had to pay an extra fee to get Phil out of a prior contract because safety matters the most to her.
What were your responsibilities on the job site?
My job was to safely operate the crane and make sure the lifts would get done on schedule.
Were there any issues on the site?
Yeah, there were squatters.
Okay. What did you observe?
I observed the squatters often walking under our lift zone, and it was really annoying because we would have to hold the loads there until the squatters left, and it caused a lot of unnecessary stress on Phil and also just wasted a lot of our time.
Did it affect your lifts?
Yeah, like I said, it just wasted our time and also caused unnecessary stress on Phil.
Objection, Your Honor. Your counsel is leading the witness.
Counsel?
I was just asking a question, Your Honor.
All right, so long as you ask a question that does not imply what the answer should be, I'll allow you to continue.
What information did you receive in April about the state of the art roofing panels?
Yeah, I learned that they weighed 2,900 tons.
Was that a problem?
Not really, because although Phil's maximum engine.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel's question is leading the witness.
I'm going to allow it. Go ahead.
Did you request special permission to lift above tolerance?
I did not. Zilius had Emerson Turnkin do it though.
How did you prepare the crane?
So we would often do our safety checks to make sure that Phil was working properly. And 4 months prior, we idled Phil and took him apart, and we inspected him for any metal fatigue or worn and weakened parts, and we replaced it all, and he was good as new after that.
On the day of the big roofing panels in August, did you personally inspect Fight and Fill?
Yeah, I did.
What safety checks were performed?
So on the day of the lift, we did a quick sweep, but the code only requires one quick inspection, and the code only requires one full inspection once a week, and we did one that Monday.
Did you find anything unusual?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is leading the witness.
I'm going to overrule. She's not asking him to just affirm the question, so it's open-ended enough, I'll allow it. You can re-ask if you'd like.
Did you find anything unusual?
No, I did not.
Were there any weather concerns?
That morning we had a discussion about it, but it did not pose too big of an issue.
What happened when the lift began?
So when the lift began, I got a red flag, and I later learned that they found a wrench in Phil's gears, and then that we had to do a sweep, a full site sweep, and it ate up over an hour of our precious time.
When you actually lifted the panels, what went wrong?
So almost right away, the first panel caught a gust of wind, and after that though, I got the hang of it, because I can get used to like new lifts pretty easy.
What time did the second lift begin?
The second lift began around 2:45.
How did it start off?
It started off as usual.
And what happened next?
So after I was hitting apex with Phil and we cleared the last building, it caught a gust of wind and I saw the low hydraulic pressure light blink on.
And what did you do?
I tried to stabilize Phil and I was reaching for the backup hydraulics when I heard a snap. And at that point I knew there was really nothing I could do. And then I just pressed the red airbag button as Phil came apart beneath me, and after that I woke up in the ER.
Based on your training and experience, what caused the crane to fall?
So for the first few weeks, I thought it was just the sheer force of the wind. But after I gave it some thought and I heard about that fire axe missing, it all made sense. If the squatters had taken that fire axe and just weakened my hydraulic line just a little bit, that could have easily been enough to make Phil fail.
Thank you, Honor. No further questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Stratton, in January 2012, safety sweeps were cut and accidents increased, correct?
Yes.
By June 2012, the intensity of the work at Franklin's Trench had doubled again, correct?
Yeah.
Did you observe that Tatum Zilius was willing to do whatever had to be done in order to meet the October deadline?
Yeah.
Your Honor, I would like to enter the following exhibit, marked as exhibit number 5, into evidence.
Any objection to exhibit number 5?
No, Your Honor.
Number 5 submitted.
According to exhibit number 5, the technical engineering tolerances was 2,750 tons the max load for fighting Phil.
That was the maximum engineering load.
And were the new panels 2,900 tons each, about 200 tons over the crane's contractual limit?
Yes, but a crane can hold a lot more than its maximum engineering load, and Phil could hold about 500 tons more than the 2,750.
Could you please read the lift capacity, the one in red, in exhibit number 5?
2,750 maximum threshold.
Thank you. Could you read the statistical keynotes, the one in red, starting on do not operate, as well as the words in parentheses?
Do not operate unless prior approval from
Municipality.
or ELS is obtained.
Thank you. On August 30th, when you worked out with Turnkin, Zilius, and Grace, you knew there were risks in proceeding with the overweight lift, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think it was that big of a risk.
Okay. Did you ever hear back from the city about their approval for the new overweight roof panels?
I did not, but that wasn't my job. I'm just the crane operator. That was Emerson's job.
Did you proceed with the overweight panels anyway?
Yes.
At approximately 2:15 p.m. on the day of the collapse, you received a call from Inspector Grace Hopper, correct?
Yes.
She asked you about 2 specific safety factors, the weight of the load, and the speed of the wind, correct?
Yes.
And you told her that they were both within the crane's 100% tolerance, correct?
Yeah, they were.
But in your own sworn witness statement, you said that this answer to Inspector Grace was only mostly true, correct?
Yeah, but you can never be 100%
I see.
on anything, man.
Micah, at around 3:10 p.m. on August 31st, 2012, you had the crane near its apex. And at that critical moment, another red flag was raised, right?
Yes.
During that stop, they conducted a safety sweep, and you testified they didn't find anything except a missing fire axe, correct?
Yes.
You were so frustrated by the safety check that you actually got on the phone to complain, did you?
Yeah, it wasn't really.
Did you
complete.
specifically tell the crew to hurry up?
Yeah, because we were wasting a lot of time.
Yes, that's my next question. Because you said you didn't have time for another hour-long safety sweep, right?
Yeah, because the squatters ate up a lot of our time already.
Before the crane collapse on August 31st, 2012, your company had already experienced what you call mishaps, correct?
Small mishaps, yes.
But at the time of your worst mishap, the snap drop, you hadn't inspected fight and fill in over 5 months, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Let's call this next witness. Feel free to step down.
Your Honor, I would like to call our next witness, Reese Denton.
Do you affirm the evidence you shall give in this trial to the jury shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name for the record. Upon doing so, counsel you may inquire.
My name is Reese Detner. Would you like me to pronounce to spell my last name?
Go ahead.
Dentner.
Reese Detner, what is the judge giving you for this testimony?
I have been given immunity.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a reporter.
And what is your educational background?
I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and English from Syracuse University and a master's degree in journalism.
What type of work do you typically do as a reporter?
I typically interview people and investigate places, typically from tips from businesses and companies that I hear.
Why were you specifically interested in Project Z?
After hearing the story of the trenchers and of everything that was happening in Franklin's Trench, I thought that it would make a very good article.
Who were the individuals living in the trench area?
Artie Dent and London Packard.
Which individual were you most interested in covering and why?
I think I was most interested in covering Artie Dent. He was constantly trying to thwart the construction process in very odd ways.
And how did you know Artie Dent?
As I was looking for people to interview about my trench warfare article, I discovered him and a few other squatters.
Can you describe Artie Dent to the court?
Yes, he was a homeless man living in the trench at the time of the construction. He would often participate in illegal practices such as graffiti on the foundations that they had laid, as well as the machinery. He would often trespass in the site uninvited. He would steal from the site as well as move sites. I'm so sorry. Move tools from the site.
Were you familiar with something called Operation Turtle?
Yes.
What was this Operation Turtle intended to do?
It was intended to stop the construction in the site, sorry.
What types of things do you observe Artie doing in relation to the project?
He would often trespass in the site uninvited. He would do graffiti on the foundations as well as the heavy machinery. He would walk under loads that could very well kill him, as well as steal from the site, as you may have heard, the wrench, and remove tools from the site.
What did they put up around Project Z?
A fence.
And what did you leave by Artie's bedroll and why?
I left a wire cutter near his bedroll because I was already halfway through my article. I really wanted to finish it, and he was very passionate about continuing to look over things in the trench.
And when was the last time you saw Artie Dent?
The last time I saw him was a few hours before the collapse. He was standing at the base of the crane beyond the fence. He was wearing a trench coat and he had his hands up as though he was praying, though I didn't get to speak to him.
Did you hear any conversations involving Grace and Tatum Zilius?
Yes. A little bit before the collapse, I heard Grace Hopper from OCIS yell to Tatum Zilius, "I can't reach, I guess you can do what you want, you proceed." It was very garbled and cryptic, and I didn't get the full conversation, but it's quite clear that she herself approved the lift to go.
Did Artie leave anything for you?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to refer back to exhibit number 4.
Go ahead.
Can you read the following highlighted title?
Power of the Wrench, Master Plan, My Manifesto by Artie Dent, July 4th, 2012.
And can you read the following sections highlighted?
Allow me to rage against the alien machine. The answer is simple: a trenchcoat martyr, blood that will forever stain this strange project, a spot that can never be washed out, a mark on what will always be home to the trenchers of Franklin.
After reading over this, what observations have you made about Arthur Dent's manifesto?
It's very cryptic and very something that he would write, but it's clear that he really wanted to stop the construction process, and I believe it's clear to everybody that he succeeded.
Thank you, Reese. No further questions, Your Honor.
You cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Reese Stentner, I understand you are an investigative journalist, correct?
Yes.
Before you even arrived at Franklin's Trench, you received a tip from a source at OCAS telling you that Tatum Zilius had one of the worst safety records of any developer in the area, correct?
This is true.
During your investigation, you personally overheard a confrontation between Tatum and Emerson, did you?
Yes.
You heard Tatum reaming out at his own site supervisor, correct?
That is true.
Your Honor, I would like to enter the following exhibit marked as exhibit number 5 into evidence. Oh, exhibit number 6.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 6 is admitted.
Please read the highlighted section of exhibit number 6.
I heard Zilius reaming out Emerson Turkin about how they could pay for anything but time and how time was the only thing that mattered.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would like to enter the following exhibit marked as exhibit number 7 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Admitted.
Is trench warfare your article?
Yes.
Please read the highlighted section, starting on Then Came Zilius.
Then came Zilius. Zilius's history for cutting corners is well known throughout the construction industry, and with her back up against the wall, this time was no different. She blew off all safety protocols and procedures, added a second shift, and a few months later, even a third shift. Under the breakneck pace, the site itself became an utter mess. Even the shiny window panes of Franklin's trench's facade could not deflect the light from shining down and seeing what was really going on beneath the surface.
Thank you. Could you also read the other highlighted section, starting on according?
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, all the construction sites in the United States in 2011, there were 5.6 injuries per 100 full-time construction workers. At Franklin's Trench, that ratio is an astonishing 15.7 injuries per 100, nearly 3 times the national average.
So the injuries at Franklin's Trench were 3 times the national average?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
That's the call special. Please step down.
Your Honor, I'd like to call up our last witness, Tatum Zilius.
Do you affirm the evidence you shall give in this court, in the trial, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record. Evidence of counsel may inquire.
Tatum Zilius. Tatum Zilius, can you tell us us a little bit about your childhood?
Yes, I was raised by a single mom, and life for me was really hard growing up. We had public assistance, public housing, church, school, whatever. And life for me was really hard growing up. It was really tough.
What is your educational background?
My mom worked 2 to 3 jobs just to for me to have a tutor because she wanted me to have a good education growing up. And I was actually my high school salutatorian, so.
Wow. How did you get started in real estate?
I dropped out of college to fix up a house, and I just kept doing that, and I made a profit, and I actually bought my mom a house because she definitely deserved it, and I earned a bachelor's degree and an MBA.
What motivated you to take on a public housing project like Franklin's Trench?
Obviously, I wanted a little money into this, but most importantly, I wanted to make affordable houses for low-income families because I knew what it was like to not have shelter or anything. It was really hard.
Yeah. Who did you hire to work on this project?
Stratton Lift Services, Micah Stratton, and Emerson Turkin.
Why did you hire Emerson specifically to serve as the site supervisor?
Well, he was definitely experienced, and he was all about safety, no injuries, and I knew I could trust him.
Why did you choose ELS for Project Z?
Well, I wanted to go with the biggest crane they had, Fight and Fill.
Who was responsible for operating the crane?
Micah Stratton, and he was definitely an expert with the crane. He knew what he was doing. He knew the crane like the back of his hand. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. What was your focus while designing the building?
Well, I wanted to make affordable houses for low-income families, but I also wanted to do it in like a way where I could be doing it in like protecting the environment. So like doing like wind turbines, solar panels, that would be really helping like the world and the earth.
Yeah. What issue came up with the roof panels, and how did you decide to handle it?
Well, they were heavier than we thought, but Mike is the expert, and he said the crane could handle it. So I just went with his opinion because he was the expert.
Approximately how much time did you personally spend at the construction site?
Since Emerson wasn't really doing his job on the construction site, I was spending a lot of time on the construction site because job progress was really slow and the squatters were getting in the way.
Did you have any frustrations with the project?
Yes, the squatters. They ruined everything. They were doing graffiti, they were moving tools around, they were sabotaging the work, and it was really hard to work around them, and it was hard.
Yeah. Did you follow OCIS code requirements during the project?
Of course, I was all about following the rules and everything like that, but it is tough because I also had to balance out following the rules and moving the project forward. So obviously I violated like some minor rules, but nothing big at all.
Yeah. What steps did you take to keep the workers and the public safe at the site?
Well, again, Emerson wasn't doing his job that well, so I decided to put up a fence to keep the squatters out, because they were making job progress really slow. So, and if they were running around the site and everything, they could have gotten really hurt. Like, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Were you concerned about anything on the day of the big lifts?
I was concerned about the weather, but Micah assured us that he could handle it, and I went with his expert opinion.
Why did you trust Micah's professional opinion?
Because he was the expert. He knew Fight and Fail more than anyone else, and yeah.
Why did Grace wave the red flag at around 3 p.m.?
There was a squatter running around the site.
And how did you respond?
I decided to do a quick sweep, which I was within what the code permits.
And what happened after that?
Shortly after that, the crane fell, and I think it was the squatters. They they ruined everything for us. I think if they weren't there, then Artie and Grace would still be here. They'd still be alive. And yeah, the squatters sabotaged this work.
Did you believe that you were reckless?
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is leading the witness.
Go ahead and finish the question.
Did you believe that you were reckless?
No, I stayed within the bounds of the codes.
I'm gonna rule in the objection. It's overruled. Go ahead and answer.
I stayed within the bounds of the codes. I had a good team. I trusted their opinions. And I do not think I was reckless. No.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness has no personal knowledge that would enable her to answer.
Well, she would know if she was reckless. I was just asking her a question.
The question related to being reckless calls for a legal conclusion, which this witness isn't competent to answer. So based on that, I'm going to sustain the objection and ask you to answer another question.
Thank you, Tatum. No further questions, Your Honor.
Any cross-exam?
Is it true that you made your money building McMansions, homes known for being built with poor materials and a focus on speed of construction over quality?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to enter the following exhibit marked as exhibit number 8 into evidence.
Any objection to number 8?
No, Your Honor.
8's admitted.
Could you please read the highlighted section of exhibit number 8 starting on for its work?
Yes. For its work in developing the Franklin's Trench property, Project Z will be paid as follows. Upon completion of all structural work, including all roofing, on or before December 31st, 2011, $30 million. On or before October 31st, 2012, $25 million.
Could you please finish?
On or after November 1st, 2012, $15 million, upon completion of all additional work, including all plumbing, electrical, and decorative work as provided in the contract, $5 million.
Is it true that one of the goals of Project Z was to keep you well-funded for your retirement?
Yes.
You were aware that you would not hit the 2011 deadline, and so you set your sights on the October 2012 deadline with what you described as with vengeance, correct?
Yes.
Tatum Zilius, in April, the roofing panels were completed, correct?
Yes.
And they were 200 tons overweight, correct?
Yeah, but Micah said he could handle it, and he's an expert, so obviously I would go with his opinion.
And at 2,900 tons each, they were over the crane's contractual engineering limit, and you knew they were too heavy?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to refer to exhibit number 5.
Go ahead.
Please read the lift capacity in red.
2,750 maximum threshold.
Please read the statistical key and notes in red, which says do not operate, including the words in the parentheses.
Do not operate unless prior approval from municipality and or ELS is obtained.
Did the city ever approve of the overweight roof panels?
No.
And did the lift proceed?
Yes.
On August 30th, 2012, you met with your trusted site supervisor, Emerson, and other team members, correct?
Yes.
In response to that team meeting, in your own witness statement, you said that you weren't going to let governmental delays stop your progress, right?
Yes.
Did you get hazardous weather reports for August 31st, 2012?
Yes.
You were aware of a hurricane brewing in the Gulf of Mexico, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. You knew that even if it didn't hit directly, it could still bring dangerous winds, correct?
Yes.
Directing your attention to August 31st, 2012, by around 2 p.m., Grace was demanding to talk to Micah about the weather again, correct?
Yes.
Did you know Grace, the city inspector, was concerned about a revised weather report?
Yes.
And you chose to ignore it because it was a couple of hours old?
Yes.
Ms. Zilius, you are aware of the OCIS violations at this site, am I correct?
Yes.
And lastly, despite the red flag from OCIS Inspector Grace Hopper, you were the one who gave the final order to lift, is that correct?
Yes.
Who died on August 31st, 2012?
Artie Dent and Grace.
Is it true that Grace is dead?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Any additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties ready for closing, or would you like a short recess to gather your thoughts?
No, Your Honor.
Ready to go? Hear from the prosecution first.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wait, I go. Oh, what?
Go ahead.
Your Honor, my name is Christy Santosa, and I will be making the closing remarks of this case. Ladies and gentlemen, in the city of Philadelphia, there was a gash in the heart of the city called Franklin's Trench. See, this trench was the place the squatters who lived there called home, until in 2011, the defendant, Tatum Zilius, came and turned this trench into a construction site. During construction, a lift that was not approved by the city and 200 tons overweight took place on August 31st. On August 31st, the wind was howling, the rain was pouring. This weather was certainly no condition for a construction lift to proceed. Yet, Zilius's command was to lift anyways. During the first lift, the panel was twisting violently in the wind. During the second lift, the red flag was raised, halting the lift. But then, Tatum Zilius came charging towards the city inspector, Grace Hopper, who was raising the red flag. He then yanked the green flag out of her hand and started waving it wildly into the crane operator. The lift proceeded after that. But then, moments after, the crane started to crumble under the load of the weight and its own weight, and came crashing down on two people, Grace Hopper and Artie Dent, crushing them to their grave. Third-degree murder is any killing done with malice, meaning a reckless disregard for an extremely high and unjustified risk of causing serious bodily injury or even death. And now, the defendant stands before it claiming not guilty of third-degree murder, but her actions show a reckless disregard, an extreme indifference to human life, especially when she cut safety sweeps, allowing workers to get hurt, ignored safety protocols and procedures, overlooked the hazardous weather conditions on August 31st, the day of the lift, and said, quote, "I don't care if people get hurt. We can pay for that. We can pay for anything but time," end quote. Tatum Zilius recklessly caused the deaths of others under circumstances showing an extreme indifference to the value of human life. She ordered a crane to lift an overweight load, despite knowing about the hazardous weather and excessive weight. Facts that should have stopped the lift. But by proceeding anyways, Zilius consciously disregarded an unjustified and extremely high risk of serious bodily injury, as shown by the crane's collapse and the resulting deaths of Artie Dent and Grace Hopper. The evidence presented showed you his playbook for disaster. London Packard, Micah Stratton, and Reese Dentner have already showed that Zilius just brushed off safety protocols and procedure to push toward his October 2012 deadline with what he called vengeance. And it wasn't just what he said, it's also what he did. Emerson Turkey and a Reese Center made it clear that he didn't care about the site's safety. He didn't care if people got hurt. The only thing he cared about was time. Because time meant money going into his bank account for his retirement plan. Zilius obviously did not prioritize safety first, but finishing first. And as London Packard told you, the city never approved of those overweight lifts. This wasn't just a mere accident, but a cause of death driven by greed. Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we only needed to prove that Tatum Zilius' actions showed a reckless disregard and extreme indifference to the value of human life. This wasn't just an accident, this was a choice. A choice to ignore safety, to ignore risks, to ignore human life in pursuit of a profit. And Grace Hopper and Artie Dent had to pay the price for that choice. So now, we ask that you find Tatum Zilius guilty of 2 counts of third-degree murder. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the defense.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my name is Brixton Testament, and I will be making the defensive closing observations for this case. Imagine growing up with nothing. You have to rely on public schools, public housing, and church kitchens just to survive. You were born to a homeless mother and a father you have never even met. Your mother worked 3 jobs just to provide for you. She was determined to not let you make the same mistakes she had made growing up, and to give you a sense of appreciation for hard work and determination. And you built your reputation from there, quitting college to pursue your career of public housing, and to eventually come up with an idea that was going to change the lives of countless families. What if I told you this is Tatum Zilius' exact testimony? Tatum, a sweet, empathetic, and dependent woman, is going to be, a dependent woman was just trying to provide affordable housing for the low-income families. It was her dream to give these families a life she only dreamt about having as a kid. The prosecution is trying to convince you that Tatum Zilius is guilty of third-degree murder. They simply want you to believe a story, but stories aren't evidence. And according to the Pennsylvania state statutes, third-degree murder is any killing with malice other than the first or second degree. And just to be clear, malice is defined as any intention or desire to do evil. Tatum was not acting with malice. She had no desire or intention to do evil at all. She was just trying to provide housing for the families struggling to provide for themselves. We have heard a lot today, but the question is simple. Can you say there is no reasonable doubt whatsoever in this case? The prosecution is carrying something called the burden of proof. They have to prove to you that Tatum Zilius is guilty of third-degree murder with absolutely no rational uncertainty. If the prosecution can't prove that, beyond a reasonable doubt, she should walk out of here tonight innocent. You have to believe in your heart 100% that Tatum is completely guilty. If you have the slightest bit of doubt, the law requires you to find her innocent. After hearing this, you should know that your decision can't just be a guess. It needs to be based on the facts that we know are true. And if you are not completely sure what caused this incident, that right there is reasonable doubt. Tatum Zilius, a woman just trying to do her job and give the low-income families beautiful, affordable housing, is going to be put to jail if you don't take a stand today. Tatum does not deserve this. She was just determined to pursue her dream. Not only was this her dream, it was her life's purpose. She cared deeply for this project, and everybody was a part of it. You can't let the prosecution trick you into thinking otherwise. I need you to walk out of here tonight knowing you made the right decision. A decision that lets Tatum Zilius walk out of here completely and utterly innocent. Thank you.
All right, do your rules allow rebuttal? That concludes the trial.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, good job, everybody. Do the jurors need a moment to do some tallying?
Yeah.
All right, while they're doing that, I'll go ahead and give you all some feedback. Do you want it now or at the very end? Because I don't know if that helps.
Can we
with
say it
the
at the very end?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Are we, providing their feedback now or
No, we'll provide all the feedback at the
very
end.
end? All right,
Typically, we take a 15-minute just intermission, if we can do that.
as much time as you need.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure I remind everybody that the protocol is supposed to be enforced through the intermission. So I don't know what provisions you have for the students, but essentially there's no communication with the students during intermission. They can talk to each other and go get a snack. The proctors go with them.
And proctors for the Central Richland need to stay with the Richland and vice versa. And we brought snacks for everyone, so feel free to let the kids go first and then all of us can have a refreshment.